Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Joan. We're glad to have you here tonight. This is something new. We don't have a live audience, and to tell you the truth, guys, we miss you a lot. Mm-hmm. But since we're traveling, we had to pre-record this show, and it offered us a really great opportunity. We have an author with us tonight that we've wanted on the show for quite a long time, but since she is an Italian who is living in Finland, we could never get the times to meet up correctly. But tonight we'll be able to do that because we're pre-recording. So without further ado,
let's welcome author P.J.MANN. Hello, PJ.
Hi.
Hello. Hello there, everybody.
Hi.
It's a great thing to be here.
Yeah,
it's excited.
It's really exciting for us too. Now, do you like to be called Paula?
Yes, why not? After all, that's my name.
Okay,
well,
all right.
In America, we would say Paula, but in Italy, do you pronounce it differently?
No, we say exactly the same, Paula.
Oh, well, good. That doesn't always work. So, you're Italian. You're living in Finland.
Yes.
And you're writing books in English. You're quite accomplished.
I don't know whether I can call it accomplished, but well, that's quite an achievement, I'd say. I don't know whether my editor would say the same.
Oh, I'm sure your editor would say the same. That's wonderful.
She has more than one nightmare, I presume. I hope not, but I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, even English-speaking authors who write in English get edited a lot by their editors.
Oh, yeah.
Believe me. I have a question to ask you that I know people in the audience often ask. When did you start writing and why?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I think I always had the idea to start writing. Writing just for fun or as a therapeutic way to declutter the stress or so. It's something that I always had. But let's say professionally professionally, because self-publishing is not considered something professional, at least not yet. So let's say I started in 2014 and my first book was published in October 2016. That's the reason why all my handle in Twitter and Instagram is 2016. That marks my publishing year. And I consider it very important and a very important, let's say, landmark for my life, because it has been changing quite drastically. In the beginning, it was just with the first book, it was just, I put it on Amazon, it's going there. Well, God only knows how it goes. God only knows if I will buy it. I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about publishing. And I have to be thankful to all the people in the Facebook groups that have guided me with their experience, sharing their path of writings, and I owe them everything. And from there, I started to market and sell something more than one book a year.
Well, I think that's the way a lot of us indie authors did get started. You know, we just jumped out there and were flying by the seat of our pants and didn't know what we were doing. And if it wasn't for such a gracious community of indie authors, you know, none of us would get anywhere, but everybody's so eager to help us. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
So kind and wonderful. But I think that indie authors are professional. You're getting paid for what you do. and that makes you a
Absolutely.
professional. And also, I think that indie movies, for example, everyone accepts indie movies as a professional, well-done movie. And I think as indie authors, we can hold our head high and say, we are professional authors.
Yes, in the industry, after all, is on the movie market, on the music scene, wherever. I mean, everything that has to do with creativity has its own indie market. Because
Exactly. And
not
as well
everybody
accepted.
has the chance or the luck to
Right.
have
Yeah.
some big industry that is just pushing you, paying you, and giving you a big chunk of marketing strategies.
Yeah, that
Yes,
helps.
that's
That helps.
true. That's
So,
true.
for those that don't haven't read your books or seen any of your books, what would you say? How would you describe your main or all of your
My,
genres that you write in?
my main genre, let's say, is a thriller, but I wanted just to experience something more, and I tried with historical suspense like Aquila Noctua, and the paranormal suspense like Thou Shall Never Tell. But the rest is mostly thriller or crime. And now I have started a new series that is the mystery, the Commissario Scala mystery series, which is set in Rome, and it has as a main character this Italian detective, Commissario Detective Maurizio Scala, which is put to solve different crimes. For that series, I've chosen true crimes. Let's say that I am inspired by true crimes, but let's say uh, be creative around them,
Yeah, they're
changing a bit there.
based on true crimes. And
Yeah.
so what's the first book in that series?
The first book is The Year of the Mantis, and
Okay,
it
that's what I thought.
was, yeah,
It's this one. So
yes,
this one
absolutely.
has just come out.
Yeah, it came out on 3 months ago, or something like that,
Yep,
if I recall
pretty new.
correctly. Yeah,
And you just described exactly what that series is going to be about. And in
yeah,
this one, you said you deal in the paranormal.
yes, exactly. This is based actually based on my travels in Africa, and is set in between Boston and the rainforest in Congo. So in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And there I have been set up sort of a mysterious tribe living in the deep of the forest that had been recorded by centuries by anthropologists, but nobody ever returned. So one young anthropologist decides to search more deep into into the roots of this tribe, and suddenly he receives one email from one senior anthropologist that was supposedly disappeared 10 years before, still just searching for their tribes, giving hints uh, about how to find and where to find.
Wow, that sounds cool.
That sounds really good. So this young anthropologist is going deep into the
Yes,
jungle
yes,
to find this tribe that there's a lot of mystery around,
yes.
but nobody knows what's happening because anyone that goes in has so
Never
far not yet
returns.
returned.
Exactly.
That really
Well,
does sound
let
good.
me ask you this. Will there be a sequel to that one?
No, they won't.
Okay, it's a
It's
standalone book.
actually it's the end is quite clear that
It's
I
the
don't want
end.
to spoil
No,
No,
don't.
don't spoil it.
everything.
We'll just say the end is obviously the end.
As long as
Okay.
everybody that reads it doesn't disappear.
Oh, let's hope so. Let's hope that nobody is disappearing.
That would be
and
bad.
nobody, and so hopefully nobody tries to go to the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yeah, there you go.
It's quite a violent place. I have been personally there, and well, it's not a place that I would recommend as a tourist.
That had to be quite an experience.
Yes, it was. We decided with my husband to go to see the mountain gorillas there until they are still alive.
Yes.
Because they are threatened to be extinct.
Yes.
So we need to see them at any cost.
That's wonderful.
And even at the cost of not returning, just like disappearing in the forest. Just
like your anthropologist, yes.
Yeah.
So you went to the Congo to see the mountain gorillas before they are no longer with us, before they become extinct.
Let's hope they won't.
How was that trip? Did you see a lot of gorillas? Did you see silverbacks? What did you?
Yes,
silverbacks are what we Americans call the male gorilla. Yeah.
Yes, and it was something that is very, very hard to describe, the powerful feeling that you experience when you are close to those beautiful animals. We were together with the rangers, and they absolutely said, whatever you do, whenever they come close or so, never make eye contact. Ever.
Right.
Just keep your eye low, because you're entering in their own house.
Yes.
And you are just a guest. So be humble.
Yes.
And nothing will happen.
Any animal sees direct eye contact as a threat.
Yes, it is.
It's you saying I'm dominant over you. So that's why you don't make eye contact with an animal.
Yeah.
If you're smart.
Well, yeah.
So
was that your favorite trip, or you say you've traveled a lot?
Yeah.
So where would be your favorite place?
Well, it's hard to say. There are so many places I've been, but Africa steals your heart. That is something called Africa Blues, which means that once you are there and you come back, you have this feeling that you need to return. You can't stay far from it. When you are there, you might even say, oh, why did I come here? I mean, nothing works. It's sometimes that if you are sleeping in let's say occasional random places, of course, hygienic conditions are very, very basic. So you say, oh my goodness, I want to go home. But as soon as you are already back home at the airport, you say, oh my goodness, I need to go back. When is that we are going back again?
Yeah, I just can't imagine how beautiful the continent is. And then all the animals that are just, we see in zoos, and they're roaming wild. It's wonderful.
And also the people, they are so open and friendly.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Except
friendly.
Except if you get into some rebels, they are not so friendly.
Yeah. So Thou Shalt Never Tell is based in the Congo, and you visited the Congo, so you know what you're writing about.
Bring that back up again.
Yeah.
The cover, did you design it?
Yes.
Beautiful.
And okay, so it looks like you're going into the Congo, right?
And that looks like a priestess holding a scepter with a skull on top.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, that is the priestess that doesn't allow anybody. That's the reason for people not coming back. Let's say.
Don't pass me. No further. Good.
Cool.
Well, then my next question was the year of the mantis, and that's based on the country that you're from, right?
Yes, exactly. And
So,
Rome is a city that I know quite well. I live and I mean I have been born and I have lived at 175 kilometers from Rome. So going there, it was something quite regular after from my teenage up, because with the train doesn't take more than 3 hours. I mean, and it's just one day trip, and you leave the morning, you come back the evening, and it's just so fun.
and this
And
inspector is based in Rome.
yes,
Your hero of your protagonist of this
yes,
series.
just behind that is the St. Peter's Church on the background.
Yes, very nice.
Let's mention while we have the book cover up, your book giveaway. The first 5 people to email will win an ebook copy of The Year of the Mantis. Yes. Specify in your email that you watched Meet the Author podcast. Okay, and we'll get the email address up here. I didn't get that on the.
Wait a minute.
What?
Okay, here, I'll put it up. Okay, so the email is pj.mann2016@gmail.com. So email pjmann2016@gmail.com, and the first 5 people who say that you watched her on Meet the Author podcast will win an ebook of The Year of the Mantis, which is her newest series. While we're doing that, let's get up all your other information, Paula, so they can reach you on Instagram. It's PJ.MANN2016. And again, it's PJ with an MANN, 2 N's at the end of her name. And Twitter is at PJ.MANN2016. As she said earlier in the broadcast, that's because this is the year she first started publishing professionally. And her Facebook is different. It's Paper, Pen, and Inkwell. So that's PaperPenNandInkwell. Paper, Pen, and Inkwell. And you can reach Paula at any of these places, and I'm sure she would love to hear from you. And her website is pjmannauthor.com.
That's a nice website, by the way.
Is there someplace else that you can reach her?
How about IndieBookSource.com?
Yeah, IndieBookSource.com. She has her own page on our Indie Booksource. So look for her there, and you can find a direct link to buy all of her books from that one page. So, yes.
Get that back up there.
Let's get that email back up there again for those of you who are watching this on video, that those of you who are listening, I just said that for you.
Okay.
Well, yeah, let's look at some of PJ's other books.
How about this little?
The Man from the Mist. Want to tell us a little bit about this book, PJ?
Yes, why not? It doesn't have a particular location, but you need to understand it's a very foggy place. It has open, I got this idea watching once again the old movie Casablanca of Humphrey Bogart.
Yes.
I love that movie. It's
I do too.
One of my favorites.
And the music.
Absolutely. And there was a little bit this idea of the fogginess of the noir.
Yes.
And I wanted just to do something similar, but, well, not exactly, but just giving the idea, the same noir
the feeling
style.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's telling about one guy that feels a little bit shy, very, very insecure, working as an editor at a newspaper, almost invisible, just like the shadows in the mist. You just don't see those anybody. But when the mist is, when you have fog, you just perceive shadows passing by. And some people, just like our main character, feels just like that, very, very invisible, just like a black blog walking by. Nobody sees him, nobody notices him. And he lives his life like that, knowing that nothing will ever change until everything change, until a girl come by and
It does change things.
yeah, generally does. And a series of murders which target the local criminality starts to shake the neighborhood. And nobody knows who can be, but some people start to spread the voice that he is the one who is killing those people.
Okay, so it's the man from the mist. People are being murdered. Criminals are being murdered.
Yes.
Yes.
And nobody knows who this strange Avenger is, but everybody strangely and for some reason start to think that our main character, our invisible character, is the Avenger. And
Wow.
Okay.
That sounds really
so
good.
he needs to find out why they think so. And there are some some twist and turn of the story.
So we need to read the story to find out why the man from the mist, why the main character, everyone thinks that he's the Avenger who's going around murdering all the criminals, but all the talk in the town is that this is the man that it is. And then that's what we need to find out, why they think that, and who is the person killing all the criminals. That sounds really good. And then we have
this was the first love. The first book is just like the first love. You never forget. That's my first published book.
But this has a different. This has a different cover now. If
no, the cover
one has the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
This has
the same cover. Taylor of Diamond is telling the story of a young man who is always living his life carelessly, born in a wealthy family, but one day he finds himself, he is being caught stealing, introducing it into other people's apartments, maybe guided by bad companies. And the family turns their shoulder to him, so he finds himself completely alone to get back on track from the prison to a normal life.
Okay, so let me put that cover up again because that is.
Let's
go
take
ahead.
down the email off of there.
Yeah. So this one, A Tale of a Rough Diamond, and I assume that your protagonist.
The character is the Rough Diamond. This young guy that needs to shine back.
He's from a wealthy family. He gets in with the wrong crowd, and he starts to do criminal activities, and now he needs redemption.
Yes.
I can't help but notice there's a couple of awards there you won.
Yeah.
That was something that I wasn't expecting. I can say. I mean,
that's a good start for anybody.
It was a good start. It was indeed a good start, and I hope that from there I learned something and I developed my skills. And after that, I have to say that I didn't participate to any other award. Mainly because I say that does it really help winning some awards or showing that you win an award more than having people reading it and giving their feedback?
Yes.
So I absolutely agree. I think some people enter a lot of contests and win a lot of awards, and we've won awards. But we're with you. We haven't gone after any awards for a long time.
Yeah, either. I mean, I did it only for the first, just because, with the first, you try whatever in your account pops up in your mind and comes from the suggestion of old people. So then, hey, try this, hey, try that. Okay, I will try it. But when then you realize, well, maybe it wasn't really that kicks me farther. So
yes, I agree completely. We're going to have to go to commercial right now, but when we come back, I want to ask you a little bit about how you write. If you rough out the whole thing, if you have an outline, if you do the end first, or we've had these discussions with almost every single author. The audience always wants to know. And we've found 3 different groups that people always fall into. So we'll keep you listening, listeners, to see where Paula falls in that.
Oh, plus you've got about 5 more books to talk about. So
I know. We'll talk about people. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in a moment. At Indie Booksource, you can shop by genre or by author, and you will be buying direct from the author's main purchase link. We offer hundreds of titles in formats that include ebooks, paperback, hardbound, and audiobook. Support an indie author. Visit indiebooksource.com today.
The Bipolar DM Show, a show about Dungeons & Dragons, indie writing, and living with a mental illness. Watch us live on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WLFE-DB.com, where we interview guest speakers, authors, and subject matter experts in the areas of mental health, living well, and role-playing games. We're proud supporters of Safe Space. For more information, be sure to visit WLFE-DB.com. Watch us live on Strim TV, Variety Unlimited channel. Also, visit our Facebook page at Bipolar DM, and see us on twitch.tv/TheBipolarDM. Our webpage is www.thebipolardm.com. There you'll find more information.
2021 just got better. Your favorite shows from WLFE DB Radio can now be found on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Yes, we now video stream to both of those platforms. Search for your favorite shows like Where's My Sage, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Everything Yet Nothing, Paratalk Radio, Step into the Paranormal, The Creepy Parlor, Just Cindy, and more. Now you won't miss an episode. Remember, follow Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Make sure you subscribe and follow your favorite WLFE DB radio shows. This award-winning thriller has it all. Murder, political intrigue, mob revenge, and a bit of romance. Not to mention strong female and male characters with a storyline that could be tomorrow's headline news. Now for a quick peek into our story. To help solving a nationwide plot involving the assassination of several U.S. senators, the O'Rourke team is called in. To complicate matters, they now have to work against the clock to rescue one of their own. You see, the mob didn't take too kindly to the O'Rourke team's involvement last spring. It seems to have led to the indictment of their boss. Will they succeed? You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Hey.
We're back. right. We just finished talking about Rough Diamond. And before we get into your next books, the question I wanted to ask is, how do you write? Do you have an outline? Do you write the end first? How do you do it?
I am a hybrid, but mostly a pantser. I just write as I go, and sometimes I try. I mean, let's say I start with an outline, but then I change it since chapter 1 is already changed.
Yes. So you're mostly a pantser, which this is what we are. We're fly by the seat of our pants.
I try to be a plotter and have a better method, but it doesn't work.
Some people do very well with being a plotter. Now, the next question then is, do you already know the end of the story before you start writing it?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, the character will let me know how they want to end the story.
And this is what
I'm at their mercy.
This is what we all say, that I mean, everyone says this, that the character goes where the character wants to go. And Caleb Pirtle, I don't know if you know him, but he had once said, if you have, and this was really enlightening for me, a light bulb went off when he said this, was if you've got writer's block and you can't move on, he said it's because you're asking that character to do something the character
doesn't want to do.
Yeah, doesn't want to do. And that's the truth, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know.
It's absolutely like that. I mean, that's why I don't ask anything.
Right?
I just let them go.
Let them do their thing. It's funny too, because I'm sure that people who don't write think that sounds a little crazy, but it's what happens. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's I believe, at least even when before I started to write, I think I believe that the writer was somebody who planned carefully what he wanted to write. You know, when you're at school, the literature teacher teaches you that you need to make first a mental outline, then you have to write what you want to say to make a sort of scheme where there is a beginning, a center part, and an ending. No.
That's right. That is what we're taught. From when we're little children, we're taught your story needs to have a beginning, you need to have a middle, and you need to have an end. And that you have to have an arc that you follow. Yeah. Story arc, and that's what you do.
Yeah. Yes, but not that way.
Well, we write murder mysteries, so we at least know there's going to be a murder in there someplace.
At least that, I start now that I start with somebody who has been murdered. Or has been disappeared.
Yeah.
So, well, at least I know where to go. I mean, there is a fact that needs to be developed. Then the detective has to come in and solve the mystery, and then there is the point of view of the criminal. Why did he do that, and how will he feel? What will be his feelings about the going on of the investigation, or how will he get out of it, or should he even turn himself in, or just no, I will never turn myself in. Those people deserve to die, and that's it.
Just finding out what the criminal is thinking, what his perspective is. Yeah. You'd be, it's interesting to us that a number of our authors have said that the whole story came to them in a dream. I've never had a story come to me in a dream.
No.
The best, let's say that the best inspiration come at night, but maybe not in a dream, but at night, waking up like, oh my goodness, that's a good idea.
Yes. But
Okay.
never I think that I do, especially I think if you're trying to figure out what you're going to do next, and you go to bed and you sleep and your brain is working on it while you're sleeping. And then you do wake up and you think this would work. I can do this. But we've had people on who've had the whole thing in a dream. The whole thing from beginning, middle, and end, the whole arc in a dream. And then they just wrote it out. More than one author. Aren't they blessed? Yeah.
Yes, I said blessed because this is a blessing. Having already, you just wake up and you have the full story.
You have the full story.
At least you just have to write the plot because it's there. That's it.
Yeah.
Then you're just going on.
Yeah. Then you have to do all the dialogue and stuff. But I'm like, that's amazing. But we've had more than one author say that, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me bring up the next book we've got here. Not necessarily in the order that these were written, people, but here's The Ghost of Morgan Street. You want to tell us a little bit about Morgan Street, where it is?
Well, it doesn't really exist. or maybe I know that there should be in New York a Morgan Street, but I do seriously doubt that is a degraded place as where all the homeless find themselves. So it's just it has nothing to do with real places. It's just why Morgan Street? Because I was with my husband, say, okay, how do I call this book? Okay, there are the ghosts because it's a story about being homeless, which means almost being a ghost. I mean, for the society, being a drug addict or living on the streets for whatever reason, an alcoholist or whatever, having lost everything just for bad luck. Sometimes, comes the recession, you lose the job, you hope that things will straight up, so you just try to keep going, then things don't turn up the way you thought. You start drinking, you lose the wife, you lose the friends, you lose the family, and you get into depression, and nothing can keep you up. This idea came to me talking to a gentleman on the park. He was a homeless and he was an alcoholic. He said, I don't blame anybody else but myself, but things sometimes just slip from your hand and everything is gone even before you even realize that it's too late. So I was saying sometimes it's just by luck that you get out, but not always.
So this park where you met the man, was that in New York City or was it?
It was in Helsinki, in Finland.
In Finland.
But I thought that since I write in English, and the homeless problem is a very common problem all over the world.
Absolutely.
And the reason why people are homeless are many, but they all resemble each other.
You're right. You're
That's
right.
true. That's very true.
So
they are ghosts.
Yeah.
They are ghosts to everyone.
Like you said, they have no life anymore.
Society doesn't see them.
Yep.
Yep.
That's true. That's very good. That's a really deep book, Paula.
And
that sounds really good.
There is also a more little bit darker story of someone who is trying to eliminate them systematically.
Yeah. So
we have
to put that in there. People eliminate
our main character is one guy who has been on the streets since he was 17-year-old. And he lives with all the others in Morgan Street, and we'll decide to find out who is killing them all systematically and why, and let's try to stop that person.
Yeah.
The title caught my eye because here in the United States, like you probably heard at the beginning of the show, we are paranormal investigators here in Tampa Bay. And there's a documentary called The Ghosts of Morgantown.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
And it's a documentary. It's not a fictional. It's investigators going in investigating all these paranormal happenings in Morgantown.
They're
which
like
is,
concentrated in one town. Yeah.
yeah, in Louisiana. Yep.
Well, I have been living all my life with ghosts or real ghosts. I mean, dead people.
Have you?
Have you?
Oh yeah, yeah. All the summer we were going to live by my grandmother, who was living in a very, very old house that was built in the Middle Ages. So it was just a remnant of.
Wow.
It was built over outside of a castle, and everything was built over and over and over, and
right.
At nighttime, well, sometimes you could hear the people walking, see shadows at the windows, or just feeling somebody just behind you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool.
There was particularly some stairs where you really feel, at least every time I started to climb them, there was something or somebody behind just there with their hands.
Believe it or not, we had a house like that. We lived in a house, and I won't say where it is. We have 6 children. Okay. And this is when they're all adults and married and have children of their own now. But this is when they were younger. And you don't want your children to be afraid, of things that they can't see. So I had seen things since I was a young girl. And I would come down the stairs. Every time I came down the stairs, I was terrified. I felt like I might not make it to the end. I really did.
Yeah.
I never said anything to anyone. I just prayed the whole time. Then finally, one of our children said that they were really afraid to go down. Our son would sing, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me. Every time he walked down the stairs, he'd be singing that at the top of his lungs, okay? And the reason was he felt the same thing, like somebody was going to push him or grab him or kill him, or every single one of us. Rob felt it, every single one of the children. Isn't that crazy? Just on those stairs, the rest of the house, all the bedrooms and the other rooms were all open and free, and
it wasn't
nice.
An old house; it was
brand new house.
So it was like really strange.
But it was built on old land, so
we're running.
Okay, we're running out of time.
We
here,
need to talk about some of
we
these.
need to talk about. We'll start
least
up
touch on
here.
Yep.
Okay, now
this is the first book.
This has a different cover now. I just want to say, Deadly Deception. Go ahead.
Yes, it's the first book, and it's of a trilogy. And it's meant to be just an introduction to the story. It's a novella. It's only 27,000 words. And based, it's really you could just read the book number 2 and book number 3, and then maybe come to the book number 1 for some reference. It's just how everything it starts. So people
let me put up those covers.
Deadly
Deception, Insomniac, and then book number 3 is Deadly Deception. What is it? The Devil's Deal. And I just want to say again, all 3 of these covers are different when you're looking for them on Amazon or wherever. So Indie Booksource, they'll still have those covers on until we change them. But anyway, go ahead.
That's my fault.
No, that's it. Don't worry about it. So Deadly Deception, Insomniac, The Devil's Deal is a trilogy. And what Paul is saying is Deadly Deception is like an introduction, and it's the backstory to Insomniac and The Devil's Deal. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. And it's a sort of a crime story where there is there is a group of researcher which is just developing a sort of hypnotic routine coupled with a drug that will be able to, let's say, to force the most mild person to become a murderer for
So-
one night and forget everything the morning after. So we have
This is a story about, let me reiterate that real quickly. This is a story about people who have developed a drug which
Yes.
they can then use with hypnotism to bend the will of someone so they
Yes.
can do their will, which in this case is they want to have a murderer who would not have any reason to be the murderer. So they
Yes.
couldn't come back to these people. And then they are able to give them a mind wipe because of this system that they've invented. So
Yes.
the person doesn't even know that they've committed the murder. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay, go
Correct.
ahead. Go. What's the then what happens?
Well, think about the in the right hands. This could have thousands of people overcoming their own mental problems like addiction, like insomnia, like whatever other problem, but in the wrong hands.
Exactly.
It can be an invisible weapon that can act whenever, wherever, and by whoever.
Whew.
Well, that sounds
Sounds really good. Yeah.
And it sounds like a good way to commit a murder.
Yeah, you don't get caught.
I don't have the drug.
Oh, good.
And I also don't know how to hypnotize anyone. I have friends that do though.
There you go.
I have friends that are licensed hypnotists.
That's true. That's true.
But
I always think that anyone of the FBI or something will listen to my stories. Jesus Christ, I am enemy number one.
Paula, we all say that. We all say, oh my goodness. And plus the things that we look up online that we Google when we're doing our research, you're like, oh my gosh.
Don't look at the browsing history.
Yeah, don't look at my browser, please.
So you have one more book.
Yeah, let's show that one.
This is a historical fiction set in the Rome of the emperors. So
nice.
It's the story of a slave that has been brought from the ancient Palestine area that was at that point was occupied by the Roman Empire. That was just a colony. So this 11-year-old slave has been brought back to Rome and purchased by one wealthy person. And his life is going to be in a kind of way. It's going to develop very strong bond either with his first master and with his future master, which is the son of the man that purchased him. So it's kind of more than a suspense or a whatever gladiator heroes. It's very, very strong interpersonal bonds that can overcome boundaries of slavery and chains
and poverty and wealth.
Exactly. That love and friendship, loyalty are the key of this book.
That's nice, and it's set historically, which is also nice. It's called Akiba et Noctua. How do you say that? How do you pronounce it?
Aquila et Noctua.
Aquila et Noctua.
Sure, that's easy.
Well, I wanted to keep the Latin name just to keep the originality, let's say, of the setting.
Okay, in Aquila
Otherwise,
is
the eagle and the owl. It would be
the eagle and the owl.
Oh, cool.
And the
owl
eagle is
eagle represents the empire. The Roman Empire had as a symbol the golden eagle.
yes.
It was considered the most powerful animal in the nature. It was the meaning of it was the symbol of the empire, of the emperors, of the dominance. The eagle dominates over, so that was the symbol of Rome as an empire.
And
The
Noctua, the owl.
The owl represents the wisdom brought and the chaos brought by the young slave. The owl is exactly like the eagle is a predator, and wherever it comes, is bring very silent chaos for the victim. But it's also a very powerful symbol of wisdom.
Yes.
So the young slave brings wisdom towards the family and towards the story. It's a kind of bond keeper.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That sounds really
Yep.
really
That
good.
the all-powerful eagle can learn from the
From the
humble,
owl.
wise owl,
Yeah.
who was just a little boy
Yes.
when he was first brought over, right? Enslaved.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good story. All of them do. Yeah, that's really been wonderful having you as
Thank
a
you.
guest.
This has been
It
fantastic.
was my pleasure, really.
I can't believe almost an hour's gone by.
I know.
My
been-
goodness.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
There you
It
go.
does.
There
Time
you go.
does
That
fly
is
when you're
true.
having fun. I have missed our audience, though. I'm sorry that you couldn't be on live because they would have loved to.
Well,
I'm sure they have 1,000 questions that they're like, oh, why didn't they ask that?
Yeah. Maybe we
here
can.
I am.
Maybe we can work it out sometime in the future. Maybe next year. You never know.
You
Right?
never know, if one day I will find myself in a holiday, in a better position, maybe.
If you
We can
ever
set
have
up.
a Wednesday night off, let us know in the future, and we'll.
But actually, this is really good. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that we had this opportunity to
Yes.
have you on the show in a way that everybody can get to know you and hear from you and understand how you're writing and why you started writing and what your background is a little bit. You're well-traveled. It's fun to learn all those things, and it's good to hear about all of your books.
Yes, indeed. So I think that kind of brings us to the end here.
It
I'm
does.
going to move you over. Whoop, there you go. And just want to say you need to watch indiebooksource.com for your schedules for October. Got some really good guests coming up.
Mhm.
And thank you for watching. And
I think after this show is broadcast, who will be our next guest? Do you remember?
I'm not sure yet who's.
Okay.
Then when this is, yeah, no, I'm not sure. So check, that's why I said check the schedule. And so until next time.
That's all, folks.
Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DB.com.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.